Hi everyone, welcome to the channel of Political Science Tutorials. In this video, we will try to understand what is Western Marxism. The discussion is lengthy one, but to know about the topic, we have to discuss it elaborately. What this theory aimed to establish and the discussion about prominent thinkers and their thought from different angles are the focus points of our discussion. Requesting you to watch till the end, and if you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon for the notification of next videos. First, we will try to understand what is classical Marxism. Then it will be easy for us to understand in which points Western Marxists disagreed with classical Marxists. Secondly, the points on which Western Marxists emphasized. Third, some prominent thinkers of Western Marxism and their views regarding societal and political and philosophical matters. Let us start with classical Marxism. A famous quote from the Communist Manifesto: "The history of all hitherto existing society is the history of class struggles," written by Marx and Engels in the year 1848. From this quote, it is quite clear that the force which works behind the development of society is struggle. And through this struggle, the form of society changes. They divided society in 4 stages: primitive communism, feudal society or slave society, mercantilism or trading society, and last, capitalist society. According to them, due to the excess development of technology and the trend of overproduction will lead this capitalist system in collapse, and socialist system of production will be prevalent in the society, which will be controlled by proletariat class. Marx and Engels used various notions like forces of production, relation of production, division of labor, etc. But we are not going in detail in these topics. But our concern is rather ideology. Marx and Engels' concept of ideology. According to Marx and Engels, ideology plays an important role to legitimize the rule of dominant class. This is an element of superstructure. By ideology, Marx and Engels meant ideas that reflect the interests of a particular class at a particular time in history. These are false consciousness and half-truth projected by ruling class. The main role of ideology is to neutralize, idealize and legitimize the existing society, which serves to protect the interest of ruling class. Basically, Western Marxists focused on this point, but their view about the ideology and how to be a dominant class by penetrating in the domain of culture, art and philosophy was different from classical Marxists. First, they invalidated the idea that socialist revolution had to await the full development of capitalist forces of production, which was the Marxist notion of the transition. Western Marxists was in view that capitalist society is successful to maintain their hegemony or domination in society. So, to understand how they are maintaining their dominance, it need to understand also non-Marxist approaches and all aspects of bourgeois culture. They stressed more on the understanding of superstructure as they emphasize on culture, philosophy and art. The term Western Marxism denotes a loose collection of theorists who advanced an interpretation of Marxism distinct from that codified by Soviet Union. Now, to differentiate among classical Marxists and Western Marxists, we have to understand that classical Marxists were theorists as well as political activists. Prominent names in this regard are Karl Kautsky, Rosa Luxemburg, etc. But Western Marxists, except Gramsci, Lukács, and Karl Korsch, all were academicians. Their debates are academic and influenced by philosophy. Classical Marxism focused mainly on labor capital contradiction questions and political organizations and political struggle. On the other hand, Western Marxism poses question on epistemology or the theory of knowledge, such as method, validity, scope, and distinction between justified belief and opinion. Second, consciousness or state of realization. Third, subjectivity or based on feeling on someone's mind rather than the external world. And they took interest in culture, and sometimes for this reason it is also called cultural Marxism. Western Marxists disagreed with the concept that Marxism is a scientific doctrine. Rather, they viewed it as a critique of human life. For this reason, they emphasized on culture rather than economic problems. First, we try to understand the theory of three main and politically active thinkers of Western Marxism. It should be noted that except these three main thinkers, Lukács, Karl Korsch, and Gramsci, all were academicians. Their discussion were only epistemological. There is a full video in this channel about Gramsci's theory of cultural hegemony. To know more about his theory, you can watch that video. Prominent figures of Western Marxism was from Western and Central Europe. To name some of those thinkers are from Central Europe, Lukács, Korsch; from Italy, Antonio Gramsci; German theorists who constituted the Frankfurt School, especially Max Horkheimer, Theodor Adorno, Herbert Marcuse, and Jürgen Habermas; and from France, Jean-Paul Sartre and Maurice Merleau-Ponty. In the latter part of this video, I have discussed about these thinkers. Now, if we look back to the origin of the trend called Western Marxism, it was started in 1923 in the Comintern material in connection with the work of Lukács and Karl Korsch. Both were political activists. But the term came into general currency in 1955 by French philosopher Merleau-Ponty, and he popularized the term Western Marxism with his book Adventure of the Dialectic, which was written in the year 1955. Georgi Lukács, the prominent Hungarian philosopher, drew dialectical method of Hegel. But in Hegel's idea, spirit played the main role, or Geist, spirit or Geist played the main role. But Lukács replaced it with class consciousness. His famous book is History and Class Consciousness, written in the year 1923. Karl Korsch was also a leading figure for laying the groundwork for Western Marxism in the 1920s. According to him, the failure of German Revolution was due to the lack of ideological preparation and leadership of the working class. As we have discussed earlier, that the main aim of Western Marxists was to emphasize on culture, which is a part of superstructure. According to Korsch, it need to take more effort to educate working class, the deeper theory of Marxism. To fulfill the aim of revolutions, Korsch felt the need to negate or to question the classical Marxism. a prominent thinker and political activist. You have heard the name of classical Marxism is Karl Kautsky. Kautsky wrote a series of essays against Kautsky's orthodoxy from 1922 to 1925. After 1928, he preferred to be in the midst of things or in actual struggle for the welfare and emancipation of the working class, with which he identified himself as a part. The most original and most discussed thinker of Western Marxism is Antonio Gramsci. Gramsci's main argument was about the establishment of working classes hegemony. He was in view that the failure of Russian Revolution proved that Marxism is not an economic deterministic philosophy. Rather, in a historical process, both economic and cultural changes occur, and it cannot be said which sphere has primary importance over the other. According to Gramsci, Marxism is a philosophy of praxis or philosophy of practice, and for this reason, it cannot be determined by any unseen historical laws as the agents of social change. Rather, it should be analyzed the happenings which are taking place in society and have to analyze. He suggests that proletariat should locate the cultural, ideological and intellectual variables. As the dominant bourgeois class creates its own organic intellectuals to continue hegemony over other classes, like them, proletariat should create potential hegemonic class or organic intellectuals before seizing the political power. So, the main point in Gramsci's theory to become a dominant class, proletariat should understand and be capable to locate the cultural, ideological and intellectual variables and enough matured to control these fields also. From 1930s, Western Marxism tend to be guided by debates among the academicians. The establishment of Frankfurt School in the year 1922 and after that in 1930s, the first generation of critical theorists like Max Horkheimer and Adorno discussed about Marx's humanistic ethics centered on the notion of alienation. This started after the rediscovery of young Marx's Paris manuscripts, which was written in the year 1944. In this work, his writings are filled with theoretical elements derived from predecessors and contemporaries. This work cannot be classified under a single discipline. This is not purely philosophical, nor essentially economic, nor solely political. This projects not a new system, rather a homogeneous whole and a critical theory. According to critical theorists, the relative neglect of philosophy of mature Marx, which thinkers thinks that philosophy is neglected in mature Marx, does not affect his recognition that ideology and philosophy are real social forces. But as dialectical materialism or economic determinism came to dominate the socialist movements, the ideology and philosophy lost its revolutionary meaning. Frankfurt School theorists emphasized on the effects of mass culture and the rise of the consumer society, which affected the socialist revolution. They started to characterize the version of their theories with other social sciences and started interdisciplinary social research. Among these theorists, Adorno, Horkheimer and Herbert Marcuse were prominent. Theodor Adorno, Max Horkheimer and Herbert Marcuse were prominent in the first generation of critical social theory. Their debates with other social theories were methodological and substantive. In their debates, they criticized empirical and quantitative approach, which is too much scientific. Social theory, according to them, should be based on speculation or will be based not on firm evidence but some guess or assumption, because sometimes the evidences cannot explain the real situation and must always be from critical angle. Adorno and Horkheimer wrote a book in the year 1944 called Dialectic of Enlightenment, and they criticized the concept of modernity developed by European intellectuals. According to them, only modern science and scienticism is not responsible for the irrational regress or the rising of ideology of fascism or Nazism, but something gone wrong in fundamental level in the social, political and economic system of modern West. Only means of destruction are sophisticated and exploitation became less direct, but blind and fear driven domination continues, and one section of society over another section, it has ever greater global consequence. Here the society is not free and culture pursues so-called progress not in real sense. The main aim of critical theory should be to address, according to them, the question like, despite the technological and scientific potentiality, why hunger, poverty or other type of human exploitation and suffering are existing. According to Adorno, capitalist relations of production is dominant in society as a whole, and it is leading the concentration of wealth and power. In early 1930s, Frankfurt School went into exile in USA. After Second World War, it returned to Germany, but Herbert Marcuse remained in the USA. Marcuse's Marxist and Freudian theories of 20th century Western society influenced leftist student movements. The leftist students movements of the 1960s, especially 1968 student rebellion in Paris and West Berlin and New York City, Columbia University was influenced by Marcuse's writings. Herbert Marcuse's best known and influential book is One Dimensional Man, Studies in the Ideology and Advanced Industrial Society, which was written in the year 1964. In this book, he argued that modern affluent society or society with abundance of money and goods represses or forcefully control the successful people. But people are satisfied with themselves or with the situation through the inferior substitute of consumer culture. This book was widely read, especially among the new left. The disintegration of Western Marxism began in the decade of 1960s, when the French philosopher Louis Althusser attacked both the Hegelian dialectics by Marxists and the various forms of Marxist humanism. He was in view that Marxism is a science which required no ethical foundation. As he clarified his theory with the concept of structures like economy, state, ideology and social institution, he is called as structuralist Marxist. Althusser analyzed how these structures are grounded in capitalist relation of production, and at the end these are the determining force of all domains of social life. He argued for relative autonomy of ideology and theory, which is a very important element of his analysis, and thus it will be a useful tool for Marxist philosophy for rigorous social analysis and political transformation. Jürgen Habermas, an important thinker of 1960s, developed critical social theory into a new height. According to him, the Age of Enlightenment and French and American Revolution originated liberal public sphere, or where the government laws and policies are discussed and public opinion formed. But now it is a media dominated public sphere, what he called welfare state capitalism and mass democracy. Another trend like Frankfurt School, British cultural studies in English speaking world, analyzed that mass culture playing an important role to dominate working class in existing capitalist societies. The capitalist hegemony, which is now continuing, is the contribution of new consumer and media culture. The cultural studies of Birmingham School was influential under the influence of Western Marxism. The main proponent were thinkers like Richard Hoggart, E.P. Thompson, Raymond Williams, etc. Later, its direction was on the way of postmodernism and populist culture. Earlier, it has been mentioned the name of Merleau-Ponty, who popularized the term Western Marxism in his book Adventure of Dialectics in the year 1955. Ponty, in his theoretical work, maintained a critical distance from liberal democracy as well as Soviet communism, and he favored a new type of liberalism. Though the failures of Soviet Marxism disappointed him, still he remains committed to humanist Marxism. Another important thinker is Jean-Paul Sartre. Through his theory of existentialism, he proposed that the notion of freedom is not only a notion, but it is a doctrine of action through which human beings realize themselves as truly human. Analytical Marxism, which was mainly popular in English-speaking world, also called rational choice Marxism, held leftist stand ranging from communism to reformist social democracy. For them, transformation of capitalism is an ethical project. Western Marxism, which oftenly called also cultural Marxism, was highly influential in Europe and Western world, especially in 1960s and 1970s. And at the same time, it has a global effect also. A large number of theorists throughout the world used cultural Marxism to develop their theory. From late 1970s, it shifted to Fordism or post-Fordism or postmodernism. Some critics are in view that Western Marxism never addressed the issues like race, gender, etc. and emphasized mainly on class and the economic dimension. But it is partly true. Western Marxism has tremendous effect on contemporary social theorists. Thinkers like Gramsci, Lukács, Adorno, Horkheimer, Marcuse, Habermas are still relevant with their speculative and critical approach. Critical theorists, as they addressed the multiple problems and crises with capitalism and globalization, as well as newer problems like ecology, terrorism, and the proliferation of new forms of technology. Their methodology and ideas have colored the way even non-Marxist view of the world. For this reason, the theories of Western Marxists will be relevant today and tomorrow also. Hope the points of the discussion are clear to you. We'll come back with a new video. Thanks for watching.